Hello everyone. In this section, we will learn the difference between TensorFlow versus NumPy. In the following given table of content, first we will discuss the difference between the TensorFlow versus NumPy. Next, we will discuss how to convert the tensor into a NumPy array. And later, we will discuss how to convert the NumPy array into tensor. So first, we will discuss the major difference between TensorFlow versus NumPy. So basically TensorFlow is a library that is used in machine learning, and it is an open source library for numerical computations. And NumPy is an open source library for data analysis in Python, and it is one of the most used scientific libraries to handle multi-dimensional array object with a lot of useful and convenient methods or functions. So basically TensorFlow is used for developing machine learning applications, and this library was first created by the Google Brain team, and it is the most common and successful used library that provides various tools for machine learning applications. And also tensors have a memory like GPU, and it takes both scalar vector values. Tensors are a multi-dimension array, and to perform some operations on tensor object, we can easily use the tf.constant function and tf.variable function. While in the case of NumPy library, it has many functions like numpy.sum, numpy.difference that performs some operations, and it will always return as n-dimensional array. And also in the case of tensor, you can easily convert the tensor into a NumPy array by using tensor.numpy function. While in the case of NumPy, if you want to convert the array into a tensor, you can easily use tf.convert to tensor method. So in Python TensorFlow, you can use the colon for slices indices. In Python NumPy, you can do indexes to use numpy.where function or slicing method. So in Python TensorFlow, you can use the colon for slices indices to get the new shape of the tensor. For this, we are going to use the tf.reshape function. While in the case of NumPy, if you want to get the shape of an array, you can easily use the numpy.reshape function. Now let us take an example, and we will see the difference between the NumPy array and tensor in Python. So here is the example, in which first I have imported a TensorFlow library with the alias name tf. After that, I have created an input tensor by using the tf.constant function with the variable name tensor value. So in tf.constant function, I have assigned the integer values, and it will be considered as 17, 29, 89, 12 and 6. Now I want to display the tensor. For this, I am going to use the print statement, and within this parenthesis I have assigned the tensor value, which is a input tensor. As you can see that the creation of input tensor has been generated. So tf.tensor is the attribute name, and shape indicates how many values available in the input tensor, and the data type has been int32. Now in the case of NumPy array, if you want to create an array, you can easily use the np.array function, and within this function we have assigned the integer values as an argument. Now we want to display the array. For this, we are going to use the print statement, and within this function we have assigned the new value variable as an argument. So after executing this code, the output comes the creation of input array. Now we will discuss how to convert the tensor into a NumPy array. For this, we are going to use the eval function. So in TensorFlow 2.0 version, tf.session module has been removed, and instead of session, we are going to use the tf.v1.disable eager execution for running the session. To convert the tensor into a NumPy array, first we will import the eager execution function along with the TensorFlow library. Next, we will create the constant value by using the tf.constant function, and then we are going to run the session by using the syntax session equals to tf.compat.v1.session in eval function. So after executing this code, the output comes the NumPy array. Now we will discuss how to convert the NumPy array into a tensor. For this, we are going to use the tf.convert to tensor. So basically this method is used to convert a NumPy array into a tensor, and the distinction between a NumPy array and a tensor is that tensor, unlike NumPy array, are supported by memory such as a GPU. They have a faster processing speed. So now we will discuss the syntax of tf.convert to tensor. So within this function, we are going to use few parameters. The first one is value. the type of an object with the registered tensor conversion function. The next one parameter is dtype. This parameter defines the return tensor element type, and it is an optional parameter, and by default it takes a none value. So if the type is not specified, the type is inferred from the value type. The next one parameter is dtype hint. By default it takes a none value when dtype is none. This is an optional component type for the returned tensor. When converting to a tensor, a caller may not have a data type in mind, hence dtype hint can be used as a preference, and this parameter has no effect if the conversion to dtype hint is not possible. The last one parameter is name. By default it takes none value, and if a new tensor is produced, this is an optional name to use. Now we will take an example and understand how to convert the NumPy array into a tensor by using tf.convert-to-tensor method. So in this example, first I have imported the TensorFlow library, and after that I have imported the NumPy library with the alias name np. So after that I have created a NumPy array by using np.array function, and within this function I have assigned the integer values in the form of list. So now I want to convert the array into a tensor. For this I am going to use the tf.convert-to-tensor. So within this function I have assigned the new array variable, which is an input array. So after executing this code, the output comes the tf tensor. So with this we have completed the difference between the TensorFlow and the NumPy array.